Friends, if you're looking for real old school laughs, you're in for a treat because we've got them right here. Flip City Magazine. Remember Mad Magazine? Then it went woke? Well, don't worry. Flip City has no chance of going woke. That's right. 4 times a year, you'll get an actual printed magazine full of jokes, stories, comics, and more, all about today's pop culture, entertainment, and woke politics. Flip City takes terrible entertainment trends we love to hate with hilarious parodies of Lord of the Rings, Stranger Things, The Walking Dead, Star Trek, Hunters, and more. Trust me when I say there is nothing else like Flip City on the market. So subscribe today. It will be delivered in print, or you can even get it digitally if you're one of those wacky Zoomers. Either way, follow our link and sign up today, and if you put in midnight, you get an extra 10% off. Check out Flip City Magazine today. It's so good to me. I'm pleasantly plump, fluffy, and totally neat. Can't fit on a plane or a seat on a bus. But if you won't date me, you hate all of us. That's right. Don't hold on your love. It's so fucking greedy. Your lack of love has given me diabetes. I can't see my knees, but I'm on them begging you please. I gotta know, baby, are you gonna eat the rest of these? And can I get an order supersized with cheese? I would give you the last chip, yeah, anything you want. You can even have my veggies when we're out at a fancy restaurant. I need a body positive love, and isn't it romantic that if you don't love me, then bitch, you're fat phobic. You're totally fat phobic. Unless you suck my Don't hold out your love, baby. It's so greedy. Your lack of love, well, it's giving me diabetes. I gotta know, 'cause I can't see my knees, but I'm on them begging you please. Are you gonna eat the rest of these? And can I get a second order, supersized with bacon and cheese, please?
What the hell is wrong with you people?
Here we go! I'm talking Benjamins. I'm talking caves. Bitch better have my money if she wants to get laid. I'm a man, my back is strong, and here's my song. If you wanna get along, bitch better have my money. She ain't getting no dick unless she got K's, honey. If you ain't making bank in your trunk, then you ain't getting none of my spunk. I'm a material man living in a material land. I need the type of things that go bling, bling, bling. I need a woman with a 9 to 5 if she wants to keep this romance alive. That's right. Bitch better have my money. Ain't nothing going on but the rent. Ain't nothing going on but the rent. But if you ain't got money, then you might as well get bent. I need a woman who's gonna smoke me rotten with skin like silk, this soft, this cotton. Bitch better have my money. Ain't getting no dick unless you got K's, honey. If you ain't making bank in your trunk, then you ain't getting none of this fucking funk. That's right. A material man living in a material land. Bitch better have my money. That's right.
I got molested in a little boy's room.
Go. If I ever lost my little lover, I'd fall apart. You showed me a life I'll never forget. Cause I'm in love, yes I'm in love with a midget. Such a little package, but a whole lot of love. She may look up at me, but she's an angel from above. I'm in love with a midget. I'm in love with a midget. She's one side. She knows just how to do me right. Even at half the height, yeah. Such a little package, but a whole lot of love. She may look up at me, but she's an angel from above. I'm in love with a midget. Love with a midget. Love with a midget.
Television highlights of the news of yesteryear.
Greetings, everybody! Welcome to the program. It's that time of the week again. Time for the weekly wrap-up. Oh, forgot to take down the picture. Sorry about that. Or not very sorry about that. Welcome. How you doing, Paul? You're muted. You're still muted.
Am I the first person at the party?
No, Andy's here too. How you doing, Andy?
Okay. It's always embarrassing being the first person to a party.
Yeah, I could have played some more music, but I figured since you're both here.
Music that's going to get us into more trouble?
Well, I'm the only one who get in trouble, so.
Well, it's true, not me.
I did play my new tune though. Because, women are always like, I need a man who has all this money and a 9-to-5 and all that kind of crap. So I did my version for a woman. I think it works. It's going to get me laid.
I hate to tell you this, Tom, but there's many kinds of women with many different opinions about things.
Who cares? How you doing, Andy?
Have you become a MGTOW or something?
Nah, I don't know. I'm just being a shithead.
I know. I'm just shitheading you back.
I know. How you doing, Andy? Been a while.
Yeah. Well, I was away for a little bit out in California.
Oh, no.
Yep. Out there working with my buddies.
Well, that's a plus.
Yeah. That was
Hello,
fun.
Mr. Masterson.
Mr. Cheto, how are you?
I'm good. I'd like to just say hi to your father, Bat.
He wore a cane and derby hat.
He did. It's actually one of my favorite shows.
Cool.
When I was a kid.
You have to sing that one time.
Oh, I remember. I got it in my head. I know it, but I'd have to hear it.
He wore a cane and derby hat. But yeah, you don't want me to sing.
No.
That's a very bad.
And who was it who starred in that?
Gene Barry. I think.
Who was?
I thought it was Gene Barry.
Yes, I think you're right. TV show.
I vaguely remember it.
Yeah. Gene Barry. Yeah.
Sure, I saw it.
Yeah, I don't know what it was about the show. I mean, again, it was one of those. I mean, Kung Fu came way after, but the hero goes into town, cleans it up, leaves.
They should do that with a janitor. I've got to clean up this town. Where's my mop?
Well, I mean, actually, that's what I was hoping for The Mandalorian. I thought, it just give me that Chuck Connors show. That's all I wanted.
Yeah, the rifleman.
The rifleman.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted was The Mandalorian to be the rifleman.
And the third season was kind of set up for that, right? Like he comes into town and
Third?
Carl Weathers.
What?
Yeah, well, remember when he comes into town and Carl Weathers is like, I need a sheriff. And
Oh,
he's
yeah.
like,
but
I'm
by
too
that
busy.
time-
It's like, wait a minute.
yeah, but they had lost it in the second season. So
Yeah, no, I'm not. Well, I'd argue more Book of Boba Fett. They had quite a lot of people happy with the Luke Skywalker bit. Because a lot of people were also like,
I
finally
was
we're going to get rid
cheering
of the
ending.
baby. Yeah.
Yeah, that was great. And then they took Baby Yoda back.
Yeah, I know.
They took it away from Luke. Luke lost the custody battle for Baby Yoda.
See, that's the biggest shame, that they have so many things to go off of that the younger audience has no idea existed, and it would have seemed fresh and new to them. All they had to do was copy and paste, and they couldn't even do that and keep out of their own way.
That's right.
Ole!
He's here. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the actual first Hispanic superhero. Ladies and gentlemen, Mythic and Iron Man.
He's the pride of Mexico. No lady can resist the magic of his kiss.
Hey, Mikey, how you doing, brother?
It is
he's
so
got the
good
hat
to
on.
see you, Mike. He's muted.
I'm back, Paul Chato.
Hey,
He's back, bitches.
How
Good
has Hey
to see
Brownie
you.
Studios been doing? Did we go public
with what?
with
The
with our
pictures?
new diversity strategy? We're gonna punch through this
Oh.
writer strike.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna go get some diversity dollars. Remember, with your brains, my skin color, we're taking over, buddy.
I'm afraid that Hollywood might be gone by the time that we, by the time the strike is over and our entrepreneurial efforts will be to no avail.
I was promised pool parties, smoking hot chicks,
Yeah.
and red carpet events.
Yeah, but that was before the strike, man.
Oh,
That was before the strike.
all right.
Everything's different now.
Oh, great. Back to leftover pizza. Leftover pizza with Tom Connors.
That's right.
Leftover pizza's gross. Fresh pizza's better.
Hey, everybody in chat.
How you doing,
Hi,
man?
Paul Chato.
Hey, good.
Our poll is really close, guys. I put a
Hi,
poll
Andy.
up.
Hi, Mikey.
I'm really
Tom.
close. Am I too loud?
No. The poll, not you. Not the poll, like the poll.
I thought you said the Paul was really close.
Not the Paul or no, the poll. Like the stripper poll, only the one that you vote on. Actually, so it's not like a stripper poll.
No, not at all.
But yes, the choices are Rotten Tomatoes 36 worst superhero films of all time, or we'll go through IMDb's top 25 films of all time. And surprisingly, there's only 11% difference in the vote right now. So get your votes in, guys. There's 184 of you in the chat. Some of you haven't voted yet, but I'm sure more people will be joining us as Valiant stream gets over with as well. But share out that link, hit the like button, let everybody know we're live. Mikey, how have you been lately? We've missed you.
Man, it's a challenge getting back to life when you've been gone for 2 weeks. Paul, do you have that when you took off on that RV and you were gone for 2 or 3 weeks? Remember that?
Oh, I don't want to come back.
Yeah, that's how I felt last week. I didn't want to come back. If I hadn't been sucked back into YouTube, and I almost didn't come back. But then I turned on my Twitter and I realized how much I miss all you guys. Plus, I miss the chat. Truth of the matter is that as much as I might appear on one live show or another, or produce one show or another, I've gotten to know so many people in so many live chats for the last 6 years now. That Yeah. Paul, you are hilarious lately on your videos. You are on.
Oh, yeah. They've been great.
Fire. My God, that Kickstarter with Iger. Oh, God, I couldn't.
I liked that.
I listened to it. I was driving. I almost drove off the road. Tears are coming. The road gets blurry. I can't breathe.
Oh, those are funny. Those are so inside baseball. And as I mentioned to Tom,
what kind of response are they getting, though?
Good. I mean, the thing is, those things never get. What's funny is that I have a popular channel, but I don't get the 100,000 views plus that other people get. It's there's you get a group of people and they want to hear a certain thing. They want to hear the same thing over and over again, and I just don't do it. So if I do tap into the Hollywood is woke thing, then I'll get 100,000 views.
Yeah.
But if I choose not to go there, but I still have, a core group of people who like play along and have fun, and it did fairly well. It's I had a good time.
You know what we need to do, Paul?
But that was inspired by the Wednesday Midnight's Edge. You guys, we were riffing along, and I went, "Holy crap! I think I'm going to do a Kickstarter with Bob Iger trying to raise $20 billion.
Hello, I'm Bob Iger. Welcome to our Kickstarter. No, you need to do a follow-up with that with the OnlyFans thing. And we need to have like Kathleen Kennedy's face with the old like cutout mouth like they used to have on
it'll gross people out. Just the mere mention of it.
Come to OnlyFans where you can see me hump a Wookiee.
Or something like that. We could
I like the subtle my favorite part of the whole bit was that subtle comedy routine that the whole thing was in a gangster type of thing. You did it with like a Don Corleone kind of.
Yeah, I did a bit with I did a little gangster. I thought it was, I need the money. No, that was fun. It was fun to do.
And I haven't seen you since you released the video where you guys were all that old video from when you guys. I originally saw that video when you guys were talking about cell phones. I think I originally saw that in Spanish.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you would have seen that in Spanish.
Like 15, 20 years ago, something ridiculous. I think I originally, because I heard about you and your group in Spanish.
Right.
So when you showed up on the internet, I'm like, no, nah. Why isn't he speaking Spanish?
No, Los Cuatro Locos en el Set.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun, and yeah, that was the BlackBerry sketch, and I pulled that out after I did, I did a poll, are cell phones net good or net bad, and people went net bad, and well, that's interesting, and so I riffed on that, and then I finished it off with the Frantics BlackBerry sketch, which I wrote, and I thought, wow, this is actually fairly still very topical. We did that in 85.
85?
85.
I remember in 2000 and when was it? 2008. I hired a social media manager, this buddy of mine that convinced me to get. And I looked at him and I sat across the table from him. I said, "I'm only hiring you for two reasons." He's like, "What's that?" I said, "Number one, everyone else is hiring a social media manager." This was Silicon Valley, 2008, like before the crash. Beginning of the year. I said the second reason is that I think that all of social media is going to be a dumpster fire for all of society, but I'm willing to hire somebody and let's see what happens in the years to come. That's literally what I told him, and it's true. It's social media is a complete total. It's really weird. On the one hand, there's been some amazing, joyful connections that have happened, but on the other hand, the level of mental health it's almost like you should be certified before you're allowed to be on social media or YouTube.
Oh, I think that's true, and also corporate efforts at trying to monetize social media, I think, has been a complete failure. There's no, I think, evidence for conversion. I don't know what the conversion is.
Well, I mean, the thing is I had this revelation, and it's not a big revelation, but I was reflecting on things like box office and this, and I just went to go see Blue Beetle on Friday, and I was like, I was thinking about how many times I hear people complain, or even I've complained about the time or money involved in going to see a movie. I super chat other creators on YouTube.
Sure.
1,000-fold of what I go to the movies every week with the date or by myself. And I buy popcorn, nachos, Slurpee, Every time I go, it's $30 to $60, and I go every week, like almost every week, like clockwork. If I miss a week, then it's rare. But I spend 10 times that, 100 times that on any given week or month on YouTube, super chats or the other. And I think that must
and you are, I mean, thank you so much, and completely unnecessary, but always you're a wonderful human being, and I do appreciate. Now, let me amend that business thing with regards to social media. I think entertainment in social media, while they can be toxic at times, is actually a really good business mix if you can handle it well, and don't cut down on the customers. Just leave the customers alone. Don't insult the customers, and everything's going to be fine.
Yeah. But I'm not sure. I'm having a debate with myself. I'm not sure what drives them more nuts stuff. I don't really think it's the money that YouTubers and independent creators like all of you guys. I don't think it's the money. I think it's the attention that drives them absolutely nuts.
Driving who nuts?
People in the mainstream media, actors, people in the Hollywood types. I think the fact that so many of us have put our attention elsewhere from TV and film must drive them absolutely nuts. And I think it's more about the attention than it's even the money.
Well, I think you're right, and I think that was the big point of contention with the Netflix documentary. I don't know if you guys have seen it yet. The Johnny Hurd Amber.
No, I have
Johnny Depp Amber Heard one. I can't recommend it. It's a big piece of shit.
Wow.
But 90% of the documentary that isn't trial footage is YouTubers. Now, I know a few have said they gotten paid. I know a few have said they haven't gotten paid. But the entire documentary is, you got it wrong if you thought Amber was guilty. She's innocent, and it's YouTube and TikTok's fault that you think this way. That's the whole documentary basically summed up in a sentence, according to them. So it's really kind of ridiculous. And I think Mikey's onto something. I think they're scared of us now. I think they know that people have stopped trusting things like Rotten Tomatoes and other critics.
Yeah.
And they're going with, what guys like us are saying, not us specifically, but I mean, the YouTube sphere, guys like Gary over at Nerdrotic and other places. And, there's even people who, I even heard a rumor that like Critical Drinkers tweet caused a big, huge fucking stir. So we do cause issues at times in these places.
It's not just because of us. It's also because of YouTube in general. So
honesty too.
Your timing is perfect, because tomorrow I'm releasing like a mammoth video, one of the longest ones I've ever done, on the decrease in power and attendance and interest in network television. And I mean, I don't mind giving it all away. There's just so much nonsense out there, between the fact that the networks didn't see what YouTube was what was coming. How come Google bought YouTube? How come none of the networks bought it?
Right.
They just don't see the synergy. And the networks, even when you've got Comcast and Disney owning ABC and Paramount owning CBS and having these synergies with everything, their sum total synergy is CBS playing the first episode of Star Trek Discovery on CBS, and the synergy is Disney playing out an entire season of Ms. Marvel. That is the sum total of their synergy plan.
Which is horrible.
Do not get it. They don't understand how it's interconnected, and we are the ones that are interconnected. We get it. No one is watching Entertainment Tonight anymore. They're watching us. And even if it's, maybe it's, some channels, and I don't know how many people are going to be on this stream, it's the sum total of all these things that they do watch, because one person is going to watch us, Critical Drinker, Gary. They don't just watch one show. So it's an amazing thing. So, my recommendation, my punchline on my video is that the first network, NBC, ABC, CBS, whatever, Fox, that actually goes 100% on YouTube and airs things live like they normally do, but then they make those individual shows, cut them up, and make them available as part of the streaming. They're going to kill. One, because they're going to get, I know probably it's against their contract with the cable companies, because they get a spliff where they're part of the bundles, but they got to, it's reduced down to 52%. 52% of the viewing audience are watching cable as a mechanism to bring entertainment into their homes. 82% of Americans like streaming better, but they hate the individual apps. They can't stand the ABC app, the Fox app,
right?
Because you have to have a registered cable account for you.
Which pisses me off. Which to me is
dumb,
because it used to be to where you could get television for free. Network television was always free. Terrestrial television.
I get it for free.
You can,
I don't have cable.
But where I live,
right,
I can't get shit.
So the first network that goes, we're going all in on YouTube, and they're going to get ad revenue. And here's the other thing that's really important that no one's talked about. They're going to get attention, because the best sitcom on network television right now is Abbott Elementary. No one knows about it. But if all us YouTubers who are tired of complaining about the gender swapping and blah, blah, blah of all our pop culture properties, if these networks start playing on YouTube, our attention is going to be directed towards the new shows that the networks are bringing out on YouTube. It's a natural fit. We'll be able to comment on them. We are going to be the new Entertainment Tonight. And that's, so that's the point of my video. I've given away the punchline is that the networks need to come onto YouTube. That's it.
No, I agree with you, and I'm glad that you shared it with us, and I hope people check it out. We also have a few people joining us right now. We've got Clobbering Times. How you doing, good sir?
Hello. Hey there, my friends. Great to see you all.
Welcome to the program. We also have Jacob from Society Reviews. How are you doing?
Hey.
What up?
What up? We also have That Culture Casino guy.
Hey.
Mr. 10K.
Let me just say this. Mr. Chatto was 1,000% right. This is a thing that networks have been missing out on. So well done.
Yeah.
Thank you. No, I didn't know how people would receive it. It's a kind of a bold prediction.
I have an anecdotal success story of your thesis that happened this morning. I got up this morning and I made myself it was Sunday morning, and I was making myself breakfast, and I put on my large TV and I watched the Film Threat rerun of his show from Friday.
Right.
And I posted on Twitter. I took a picture. I made myself this breakfast and coffee, and then I posted it. And not 5 minutes later, a buddy of mine on that I know from YouTube, Eric O'Sullivan, was watching a different film threat video and having breakfast at the same time this morning. And I remembered as I was sitting there doing the picture, I'm like, God, I remember you used to get up and watch Face the Nation or this or that. Or I turn on ESPN Sports Center, which I just can't stand ESPN anymore. It's all changed.
Yep.
Paul,
And
you're right.
Do you know the number? And I didn't even talk, you know what? I didn't even mention that in my video. It's too long anyway. But the percentage of people that are watching YouTube on their TVs has skyrocketed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's what my wife and I do. We watch Time Team on YouTube. We like the little snippets. We like the assorted variety that's available. I mean, and then we still like Netflix and things like that, but there's way too many streamers. That's going to collapse. So if we remain with Netflix and one other streamer, and then we've got YouTube, and then the networks are all on YouTube, and they get rid of those stupid fucking
YouTube
apps.
is basically replace terrestrial television.
Correct.
Yeah,
correct. And that's what I think should happen.
Well, one number that just impressed all of that upon me, Paul, was the fact that less than 50% here in the United States tune into linear television anymore.
50,
that's what Paul just pointed out before you got here. Yep.
Yeah, 52%.
Yeah, it's just I got recent numbers. And it's less than 50%, and it's specifically people tuning in through broadcast, linear, and also cable and satellite.
Right,
the numbers have fallen so dramatically. Yep. They are still making a living off of the affiliate fees and everything else. But understand this: affiliate deals are about to have to be renegotiated again.
Yep.
So if those things exist in the contract, as you suggest, that if those things actually still exist, that they can't run their stuff on YouTube, perhaps that will go away, and then we'll see what happens.
And there's some interesting things which I talk in my video too, and that is there's some very weird things going on out there that it's very interesting. First of all, the networks seem to be the only entity that can do 24, 26 shows a year of something. The streamers can't do it. And the cable company maybe get close. AMC can do quite a few. HBO are okay, but they can't do 24. And while Netflix had found out that they can probably get only 2 seasons out of a sterling show like Daredevil, if they put Suits on Netflix, all 9 seasons of it, it's like the top show on Netflix. So it's like only the networks know how to do the 24 season shows, and it's a perfect spot for the streamers. Like it's this weird thing that's going on. So The Office was a monster hit for Netflix. Friends,
yeah.
How
I Met Your Mother.
But they themselves can't do it. It's weird. I don't know what it is about it. So
it's because Netflix just took over the what was basically the syndication model, and stole that from the networks. Basically, is what they did. So then, instead of people turning on, TBS or your local channel at 10 o'clock at night, watching the news, and then watching 5 episodes of Friends afterwards, or a couple episodes of Roseanne, Friends, and whatever else they showed on their syndicated package, people are just flipping over to Netflix instead.
Yeah, and people will have turned on Friends first thing in the morning, and they will have left it on the whole day.
Yep.
So no one out there in the Hollywood sphere that I can understand, that I've read, are really talking about these synergies and the way people are.
No, you're 100% right, Paul. And it's an interesting point. And it's why I think Nick at Night took off the way it did back in the day. It filled the same kind of void for people. It was, it's that comfort television.
Yeah.
It's the stuff that people don't want to have to think about. They don't want to watch the news. They don't want to deal with the daily lives, but they'll turn on Friends or The Office, or like we did back in the day, whether it was Andy Griffith or the Brady Bunch or what have you. And we would just tune out, listen. It was just like having it on in the background and you would pass out to it just like you would ever. And you, like you said, in the case of something like streaming, it's literally running overnight while you're sleeping. So they're also gaining all those numbers. But yeah, this is basically where we're at now. And I think you're 100% right. And that's why I've said it's going to boil down to sports. Whoever figures out the sports thing is going to really win.
You got to let me publish my video before you chop this up and rip me off.
No, I won't chop it up and rip it off.
No,
I'm not that bright. I'm not that bright, but we do have some very bright people in the audience. We got 600 folks watching. We got a Valiant Renegade raid. Thank you so much to Valiant and the crew over there for sending everybody over here. We have a very, very tight poll going on here. It's even tighter poll now than when it was earlier. It's at 51% for the worst superhero movies and 49% for the top 25 movies of all time, according to IMDb. Vote now.
So we're going to do both.
It's getting to that point if we don't get a little bit better vote here, but we have quite a few people who haven't got a chance to vote yet. So while we go through these super chats, we're going to give all the newcomers a chance to do that. We got Eldritch, Lord Haster, who didn't say anything but just sent in $5. Thank you for the support. We got Valentine's too, who says, "Hope you feel better, Tom. Radio drama. Sorry to ask." No problem, brother. I have been dealing with post operation bullshit, so I haven't really been in front of the computer too much. In fact, I got yelled at by my doctor the other day for not putting my feet up enough Friday. So yeah, most of my weekend has been spent either sleeping with my feet up or sitting in my recliner with my feet up. I've been taking in all the Chucky movies because I got the last 4 in 4K this last weekend. So I've been watching those, and yeah, so other than that, I haven't had a chance to really check it out yet, Valentine's 2, but I will try to do so this week, and I will get back to you on that. Zontar says, Paul, Nadia, The Secret of Blue Water, the G-Kids Blu-ray release is pretty good scan, and it's the show Disney plagiarized Atlantis: The Lost Empire from. So this must be a anime of some sort.
Yeah. Okay, Nadia. Yes, I know it. I think it's on Netflix.
There you go.
I just finished watching the Kamen Masked Rider movie.
Never heard of that one.
Well, I like the Kamen. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's it's all these motorcycle based superheroes from Japan. This one was violent.
Maybe I kind of know what you're talking about. Is it like
they're all and this guy was part grasshopper, part human.
I hate it when that happens.
It does. You know what? You're just eating a burrito and suddenly you realize that you're part grasshopper, and it all helps.
Wait, that's the plot to Blue Beetle.
They had a plot to Blue Beetle? I saw the film. Where's the plot?
You know what's funny is Paul. I don't think anybody here has seen it, but Klobby and Mikey have, right? Or did you see it too, Jacob?
Yeah, we had a discussion about it on Friday.
That's right. Okay, I thought you. Okay, so you guys have seen it. The rest of us haven't yet. Mikey, you actually liked the movie. He's muted.
And then Jacob obliterated. Yeah, I talked about it on Jacob's channel Friday night once I got back from the movies, and then he obliterated my review.
Well, you know what, though? What you told me on the phone after you saw it, though, it was like, you know what? I think that this movie exists for what it should exist for, and it's kind of like that Black Panther thing was, you know, for black people. Because you said you enjoyed it. You enjoyed the flair that it had with it, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I mean, you can make movies like that. I don't see why not, but just they shouldn't expect them to be movies that everybody's going to go see, I think, is the problem.
Yeah, and I heard a conversation on Valiant. I was backstage, but I heard them talking, and this movie is not going to have any international legs because if it doesn't have domestic legs, it won't have any international legs for the basic reason that it is a Mexican-American LA Chicano superhero movie.
Which is weird because doesn't it take place in Miami or something like that? Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah, that was incredibly distracting.
It's shot like Miami, and then there's some place that looks like LA, but the setting is Texas, so none of it makes any sense.
No.
Makes no sense. But yeah, Jacob hated it. I liked it. I'm in shock that I liked it because there definitely were there are definitely 6, 7, or 8 times where I rolled my eyes, but. And I try to avoid. I didn't listen to your guys' Thursday night show. I know some of you guys watched the Thursday. I didn't listen to your Thursday night show. I avoided everything. Like I went, you know, and that's what I do with these movies. If I'm going to see them the week they're out, my views. And look, I liked it better than Flash. I liked it better. Good God, I liked it way better than Wakanda Forever.
That's like saying I liked it better than being waterboarded, though.
Oh no! Look,
Yes,
look. I'm going to
much.
tell you, there were 6 or 7 times where I rolled my eyes upwards at the sky, but like a couple of things that I thought would be ridiculous didn't bother. The imperialist comment didn't bother me. The Batman comment when it came up didn't bother me. There were just other little references that were just completely ridiculous.
Well,
I'm not a Blue Beetle guy though. I mean, it's not like I collected these comic books or ever read them at all. Okay, so
no, but you appreciated the representation. Was my point? It's like,
God,
so I felt like
it's really
maybe
hard
they did that part right, I guess.
And I hate that word. You know how much I hate that shit because it's part of the woke crap. But I couldn't help but find myself giggling at some of the stuff. And I'm going to tell you, in the theater that I was in, there were about, I think it sat maybe 100 people. There were about 50. It was about half full ish. Of the people that were there, maybe like it was, I don't know, I'm going to say 60% Hispanic, the rest not all white. And it's the first time I've been to a movie. Okay, this is going to sound funny. It's the first time I've been to a movie where at my local theater where the only people in the theater were white and Latino, because all the other times it's because I live in Hilton Head Island. And I was looking at the white. There was this mom, and she had her 3 kids. I'm guessing it's her 3 kids with her, and the kids seemed to enjoy it, and they were like right to my left of me. And then in the back, which is where all the Latinos were, all the Latinos that were in the back, they were laughing at every joke. They were giggling and having fun. It was a really interesting experience to see, the people's reaction to it here on Hilton Head Island. I don't know what to say. I mean, I would
feel authentic, I guess, is what I'm asking.
Well, there were some political commentaries here and there that were very distracting, but they're so off. They're so off that it's like you just laugh at it. It's kind of like listening to a Grace Randolph review. Like, you can't really get mad at a Grace Randolph review sometimes because they're just so fucking ridiculously stupid. And some of the points that were brought up in the script, I thought were just bad choices. I did think the scenery set was a bad choice. Look, if this movie came out maybe 4, 5, 6 years ago, I think it'd probably be doing better, and it would have a much more forgiving perception. And I'm going to repeat what I said on Jacob's show. I think if you are Mexican American or Hispanic, or you've been exposed to what I'm just going to say, my people's culture somehow in Arizona, wherever the hell you live, I think you might have a good time with it. Look, am I giving it a 10, 9, or an 8 out of 10? Hell, F no. It's getting a 6.5 to a 7. But frankly, I walked into this movie thinking I literally had my phone charged up because I thought I was going to walk out and everybody was going to get a Wakanda Forever rant. That's what I thought going in. And what am I going to say? I'm as shocked as anybody. I cannot believe I enjoyed it, and I did. But
what's wrong with liking it?
Well, but that's me being. But that's
because the movie sucks.
It is arguably not a good movie, and I know that if I put on my movie reviewer sombrero, if I put on my movie hat, my movie reviewer Midnight's Edge hat, there's no reason for me to like this movie. However, when I put on my Mexican sombrero, fanboy, want to go to the movies and just have fun and have my popcorn and Slurpee, I had a good time.
All right. Well, that's great, Mike.
Don't get condescending with me, Culture. I already beat you up. Friday.
So essentially, I was the bad guy Friday night and said that this movie sucks. So while everyone was trying to give it credit, I just rolled a bunch of grenades into the room and closed the door behind me. So
there's a lot of people who are.
You and Culture were meanie faces.
I was gonna say a lot of people didn't like the film. I've heard a lot less people who liked it, but I don't know. Maybe this will change Mikey's mind. Have you seen this yet?
Oh boy. A laptop? I'm looking at a laptop.
Okay.
Blue Beetle is one of the best DC movies I've seen in a long time, but maybe I am just biased because I really like superhero movies about a reluctant hero who's trying to raise money for his family, who gets fired from his job and then accidentally takes home a bug-themed superhero costume, which he doesn't know how to use. So he teams up with the daughter of the original superhero who's becoming the new one of, and he has to stop an evil tech billionaire from creating an army of suits that have the same power as the hero to send to the military to take over the world. It's Ant-Man. This movie's amazing. It's just like Ant-Man.
Mexican Ant-Man.
No, it's Mexican. It's sombrero. It's sombrero Ant-Man.
It's actually the true Mexican Iron Man, is what you said. It's your movie.
But it's so much worse than that because it steals from so many other better.
Wait. There's only one thing that's important. as a former network executive.
Oh boy.
Television does not have a quality button, only a volume button. Okay.
Right, what about films?
So I'm equating that with films also.
Oh, okay.
The only thing that matters is box office, and I hear it sucks. So
yes,
nothing else matters. People will glom onto many specific items in a movie and can save it or can sink it.
I just want to take this moment to point out that Black Adam has basically been the largest grossing DC film since 2018, and then they publicly threw The Rock under the bus after that whole film came out.
Is Blue Beetle
the worst,
better or worse than Black Adam? Because I found that was a mediocre film.
It's worse.
It's way worse.
It's worse.
Well, here's the thing that's the problem with that though, Jacob, is even though you're right, and that was technically The Rock's highest grossing film to date, I think, it is still at their best. DC right now is getting trumped by Marvel's worst, right? Like that's the problem. Like even at their worst, Marvel's kicking their ass, and that's sad.
Well, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. The only film that DC has released that actually made over $1 billion is Aquaman, right? Is that the only one?
That's correct. I believe you're correct.
Yes, without inflation, you're right.
I think adjusted for inflation, the first Superman, the
first Superman, the first Batman movie technically would be like $1 billion movies.
Yes.
Yeah. Look, as a DC and Warner Brothers cinematic universe fan, we're used to our movies sucking and not making any money. So I'm none of that's like next,
DC was utterly incompetent and left in the dust during the Halcyon era of Marvel, but then Marvel lost the plot also. But that competition between Marvel and DC, when Marvel was on a roll, must have made the Warner Brothers executives cry because they were just so powerful.
Yeah. And by the way, I know some people are saying Joker, but Joker isn't a DCEU film. That's a separate thing.
Technically, yeah. But I saw this the other day when I was at Walmart. They're literally selling the Shuri dolls that they had left over for $1.
Wow.
Why is that a shock?
Well, you said the word
it's
selling.
It's not a shock. But Paul, we
selling.
I was hoping Toxic Man here would be here for this, but he hasn't gotten here yet. He's running late. But we came up with a plan. We have created the idea. I'm gonna go buy all these up. Okay? And then I'm gonna go. Now listen. This is gonna make us some money, Paul.
Okay.
We're gonna buy all these up. And then I'm going to go buy some canoes off of Amazon, some little toy canoes. And we're going to glue the canoes to her head. And we're going to call her Mix with an X, Canoe Head, DI agent. Okay?
Yeah.
Now we need you to sign off on this.
You're going to DEI my Mr. Canoe Head.
Yes.
Really?
You're going to race and gender swap Mr. Canoe Head? That's
God damn you.
Wow, that's unholy. That is like
no, we're gonna sell them for $10 a piece.
Paul, I am not with this, Paul.
I am not either. And,
this is
neither is
look,
Mr.
They're
Canoe
only gonna
Head.
cost $1 a piece for these figures. And I can get like 10 canoes for 13. That's like 2.5, not even 2.25 a figure it's gonna cost us, Paul.
Nope.
After sending them out, we can make a fortune on these.
Nope, I refuse.
And we're recycling.
Don't worry, Paul. I'll contact legal first thing in the morning.
Thank you.
Now, everybody thought this was a great idea, and Paul is poo-pooing this, so sorry, guys. I hate to break Tox's heart.
I mean, it'd be
better
off.
Are we gonna have to return all the money on the Kickstarter?
Now I got to take all these fuckers back.
I'll still, you know what, Mike, Tom, I will. I'll buy a bootleg figure.
I mean, it'd be better off if Walmart just gave everyone a free doll for like every purchase, like $5 or more. I mean,
they are basically taking a loss on these, Jacob, if you think about it, because I guarantee you they paid more than $1 a pop for these.
Okay, well, here's how this works. Okay, so I did 10 years as a retail manager.
You would know, right? Yeah.
So when you get into a setup like this, real estate, like every other kind of real estate, has a lot of value to it. So your placement in the aisle is determined by bidding, and whoever bids the most gets the lead off in the aisle. And you'll see that there's different sections that, and whoever gets the lead off, you'll see it a lot in food material. Like you'll see like Nabisco will head off the head of the cracker aisle. Nabisco paid the most for that spot because that's where, somebody who's just coming in and grabbing something that's going to be your eye cat, that's going to be the first thing they see and they're going to grab it. So the placement of these things, every one of these aisles gets a planogram. Corporate comes along with the representatives from the various companies, and they sit down and they decide very meticulously about what gets placed where. So all of these things that haven't moved anything had all of that development process go through this, plus the big marketing pushes, the big displays. Like right now, you can walk in and you see a great big giant display of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle stuff. Before that, you had all the Barbie
and
stuff.
caps and all that stuff, yeah.
Well, those aren't just random things. Those companies have to pay the Walmarts and the Targets and all those to get those display pieces up, and they're supposed to last for a month or a given amount of time, and that's when they can start to shift off. So it's not just the cost of the action figure and the materials themselves, it's also the cost of the display space and the merchandising in the aisle itself.
Right.
So when you look at how costly this stuff is, it's pretty expensive for these companies to take a big hit on these things that flop.
Well, in this case, though, wouldn't have Walmart already paid out the amount of money per?
Oh yeah, and that's what I'm saying. So
at $1 a pop, they're definitely taking a loss, I bet.
Oh yeah, like it's amazing, and most of those things are just going to end up at Ollie's, who is probably going to pay 50 cents a piece.
That's probably why they're $1 at Walmart. Ollie's probably said, "Fuck you, we're not taking them."
Yeah. Or they already got their shipment.
But I think the chat has helped me, Paul. They're right. As long as I change it by 25%, I think I'll be okay. And I think I'm pretty well covered. I'll just use a kayak instead of a canoe.
Oh,
so
for God's sake.
There's nothing you can do. You had a chance to get down on the ground level, and you blew it.
I am going to be. You can show this to everybody.
Mixed canoe trunk, canoe head. It'll be kayak head.
No, you'll see this. I will show this to you, and sorry, give me a second here.
All right,
great YouTube.
Yeah, we're waiting. While we're waiting, Tim Hayes has been a member for 22 months. Thank you so much, Tim Hayes, for the support. We appreciate that.
I still want to return to this conversation about Blue Beetle.
No.
Why? This is not the show for it.
Okay.
Because all I know is we've got about a couple hundred more people who need to vote. The poll is now sitting at 54% talking about the worst superhero movies according to Rotten Tomatoes. So keep voting, guys.
Plus, I'm going to sleep in 30 minutes anyways.
What? You can't do that to me, Mikey.
Dude, I'm not staying up all night. I know.
I love you.
Oh.
Hey, Mike, you know what you could do? In an hour from now, you could be on my late night culture stream.
In an hour from now, I'll be asleep with my head on my pillow.
We'll be doing our list still in an hour from now. What are you going to show me here, Paul?
I couldn't find a way. I'm going to do it through X. Hold on.
Okay. He said X. Dearest says, while at work today, I have had a very similar line of thought about YouTube. I can see studios licensing shows to YouTube. They already rent movies. Well, they already do this to a point, Dearest.
Yeah.
In fact, they'll drop a lot of premiere episodes on YouTube for free and whatnot all the time. Beavis and Butthead, they did that too. Chucky, they did that too. Didn't they do that to like one or two of the Disney shows too? I thought. Could be wrong, but
yeah, I just don't think they're using YouTube to its fullest advantage.
They will eventually.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, we saw this one. This one's good. We got the Mr. Canoehead Ken edition.
Yes,
Mr. Ken Newhead.
Ken Newhead.
Yeah. But I think you're overlooking that the money that could be made in Mix Canoehead DEI agent.
That's too anatomically accurate. I see a bulge in the pants.
There is a bulge.
That's his paddle.
The sandals really bring it all together.
Yeah, the sandals did.
The Waltman says, I prefer to build Gundam models. I like to escape. Well, if you build one big enough, you could escape in it.
Yeah, it could be a Gundam Mr. Canoehead.
There could be. We are all Devo says, no comment, damn it. Okay, then. Action Com says, how many panelists watch YouTube on television? I do.
Yeah.
And,
I didn't used to, but I sure as hell do now.
And then Trey Schneider says, Tom got poisoned by Mutant Mayhem and Blue Beetle. Mike's wearing a hat, and all the love for Sadie. Here's to Tom not getting interrupted by the panel. Oh, well, that's sweet. I didn't go see Blue Beetle yet. I don't know if I will.
I have a question about the TV YouTube thing. I'm wondering how many YouTubers actually watch themselves on the big screen because it gives them a bit of a rush. That it makes them feel that they're actually on network TV.
I didn't used to do that, but I used to when we first started doing live streams, I would listen to myself just to, and I used to do the same thing on radio just to try and fix my idiosyncrasies. Yeah, and all that bullshit.
That's okay.
No, speaking of idiosyncrasies, we got Valiant Renegade here. How are you doing?
Hey,
what's going on?
VR.
Thanks for the raid.
Thank you for the raid, friend.
Oh,
we got Thomas Schotter, speaking of friends, who's been a member for a month. He says, as a massive Bond fan, I was disappointed by the Craig era. They stopped making Bond films, instead made films about a spy named James Bond. Well, yeah, they were always compared
now,
to
weren't they
foreign
successful
films.
though? Weren't the Craig films the most successful Bond films?
I don't know about with inflation.
Well, I mean, with that, I mean, forget about the Connery films, but didn't Craig kind of resurrected Bond? I wasn't a big fan of his Bond films, but
yeah, I don't like them much, but I think the first couple at least did fairly well. Yeah. Did pretty well. Yeah.
There you go. I'm not a big Bond person, so I don't know much about it.
I was Script Doctor, and we thought, I wonder if someone has the cojones to make a Bond film as sexy and sexist as the original ones. Are people so tired of this ticky-tacky, avoiding any kind of sexual confrontation or attraction that maybe a throwback movie would actually be killer now?
Oh, yeah. It can be done.
Yeah,
and it would do well.
I think the audience would love to have it because we haven't had one for such a long time. We understand the problems, if you can call it that, of the original Bond movies. We understand them, but if we can go for a film where an absolutely good-looking guy and a stunning woman like each other, what's wrong with that?
I think it would do quite well.
Yeah, I'm thinking that too.
Not for the modern audience.
Well, the thing is, the modern audience never went to the movies that we liked anyway.
Yep. Oh, exactly.
I don't believe there is a modern audience.
No, and from a business perspective, there's a saying: "You fish where the fish are." And it's such a simple adage, and I mean, many of us, I think, have already commented ad infinitum on just the fact that what are the studios like Disney doing? Why are you fighting so hard to not fish in the pond where the fish already exist? But we know what the answer is, because the woke hate the past. They don't like what we created. Many of us were involved in those creations, and they don't like the fans of those creations. So there's absolutely nothing about the past that they enjoy. And so they decide that they're going to recreate it in their own image, and no one's interested.
Well, hell, they don't like reality themselves.
No, they don't.
Paul, the issue is the hubris of Disney. It's because they believe they can create any pond they want, anytime they want, anywhere they want, and stock it with whatever fish they want, and everybody will come running. And they're finding out now that their elasticity in the marketplace is just not what they thought it was.
We just had a nutty occurrence. I think that the YouTube chat just died.
It did.
Yeah, like nobody can chat. The show's still going. We're still live, and we still have almost 700 people watching.
Right.
I even tried refreshing. It's not working. I don't know what's going on, guys.
So chat, I'm not sure what's happening out there, but I was trying to unhide some comments. I might have accidentally hidden some of you people that are out there in chat because
but you didn't.
No, chat's not working in general. Like it just quit.
All right,
working.
somebody just hit a heart button out there. It looked like, so that is still working. But apparently nobody's able to type anything.
Yeah, I just tried to type LOL and it wasn't working at all.
Yeah, I tried refreshing the hearts and 100% are working. I see, guys, there's a problem. Hopefully it remedies itself here soon.
I sent in a wrench chat that just said hello, but nope.
Yeah, I couldn't send it. I can send it from. I think it works from the.
Oh darn!
StreamYard
My
side.
$1,000 super chat isn't going through.
Oh, ain't that a bitch?
Of course. Yeah, that's bullshit.
Yeah, but Valiant is absolutely correct. They thought that they could make any pawn they wanted anywhere they wanted.
Yeah, they figured, look, if we slap the Disney name on something,
right,
and then if we take a very popular piece of IP, Hello Little Mermaid, one of the most iconic characters they've ever created. Well, not created, but borrowed and then created into a Disney princess.
Right.
And we can do whatever we want with this, and people will show up. And they started out well enough with the first teaser and the iconic song of Part of Your World and all this, and I'm like, wow, this could be a big sleeper hit for Disney. This thing should do what Barbie just did this summer. This is one of the biggest princesses they've ever made, and it didn't do it. Why? Because they decided to meddle in their own sandbox way too much, and they turned it into a litter box, and that's the problem. They think audiences are stupid and will just show up for anything that says Disney or Little Mermaid, and it just didn't work.
It wasn't a very good movie.
No, it wasn't. They added 45 minutes to it. They added all kind of extra music nobody asked for. They changed the storyline, and that doesn't even take into account the fact that they decided to, turn the title character into a representation exercise, which was stupid on their part to do. Again, make a commercially saleable movie based on one of the most popular things that everybody already knows that is Disney. When they go to Disney World, when they go to Disneyland, and it's like they didn't want to do it. They wanted to see if they could lever it into something else as a message, and it just audiences are just having none of it. Maybe if this was 2016, before Ghostbusters 2016 came out, hey, maybe it does better. The problem is nowadays, audiences out there are so wise to this and they roll their eyes. It's not the fact that they cast a black actress in the lead role. It's the fact that they cast her as a political exercise. People just instantly recognize this as cheap virtue signaling, and it just doesn't go over anymore because now it's been done to death. And this just keeps going on and on and on, and it's not going to get any better. The Snow White movie is going to be a mess financially.
Yeah. Well, the chat is back, thankfully, and Dearest has sent us 2 Game Over stickers. Thank you for that. And we also have Unlimited Power. Says, how did you guys find your significant other? And how did you make it work? And how did you know it was what you wanted? I'm lonely. Well, that's a long story here.
Wow.
Let's ask Paul, since he's been married for a couple of years.
Well, we're coming up to 40.
Wow.
A good friend of mine picked up this woman at Second City, took her over to Theater Sports. He was on stage. I wasn't performing at Theater Sports, which is an improv event. And he said, hey, can you just sit with this girl I just met? I went, sure. And while he was on stage doing Theater Sports, I picked up his girlfriend.
Well done. well done.
Been married ever since, huh?
Yeah, we went to a restaurant the next day, and we got engaged 6 months later.
Ah,
that's kind of cool.
Very tricky, Mr. Bond.
That's what you call the Chad maneuver.
Anybody else got a story they want to share?
There you go.
My wife fixed me up with a cocaine addict.
What?
What?
What a woman.
Yeah, true
I
story.
wanted to hear the other story about how the guy hung himself in the basement after that happened.
Yikes. Yeah.
Okay.
And then we've got Brian joining us. You've also been married for a tick, Brian.
Oh, geez, yeah, 25 years or more now. Yeah.
How did you meet the missus?
Second time round.
Did she catch you with a sheep or?
Well, she's Canadian, and she was traveling around Europe, and we just happened to meet up and hit it off, and that was it. She was, I kept her in a cage in Edinburgh, so she couldn't get back, and back to Canada.
No, are you listening to Disney? Because that's the makings of a fairy tale.
That's right. It's like the old caveman thing with the club and dragging
clubbed her and drug her in. And then we got Commandant VHS, who has a.
It was the kilt that did it, by the way. It was the kilt.
Thank you for the super sticker. It's a thinking face, I guess you would call it. He's thinking. He's pondering. Little face. Well, he's pondering what the 25 or the 36 worst superhero movies could be according to Rotten Tomatoes. Now, I guess this poll or this was put out last year. So I don't know if it has
before the
four of them right there.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so it doesn't have any of the newer films on here, but it does have everything up through like the late part of last year. But this goes by, I believe, their tomato meter. So let's get into this. RoboCop 2 shouldn't even be on this list.
No,
that's not.
That's a good movie.
Yeah,
well, not just that; it's kicking off the list with a movie that's not even technically a comic book movie, but whatever.
Well, that's also true. Not a comic book movie. There were
It's
comics
worst superhero movies, so we're going with the superhero.
Not even a
thing
superhero movie, but
there's a lot worse movies than RoboCop 2.
Oh, geez,
yeah. I love that movie. Come on, man.
Yeah, like RoboCop 3.
That was bad.
Yes.
Yes.
Now,
100%.
Frank Miller did write RoboCop 2, but that's about as close as it gets to being a comic book or superhero movie. But
he wrote 2 and 3.
Well, we'll have to forgive him because 2 was at least good.
And you can actually see his version of 2 and 3 in his comic book he did.
Would you pick RoboCop 3 or Tremors 3?
Tremors 3 is probably a little worse. I don't know.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know. The Tremors movies weren't that bad until the latter ones.
There's only
one was great.
Movie. One was brilliant, and the
first few were actually not too bad. The second one wasn't too bad for being straight to video. It was actually pretty funny. It had the ass blasters in it.
Warzone, huh?
Punisher Warzone.
Strongly disagree with that.
Don't know
it.
Strongly.
I mean, it's kind of a hodgepodge of a movie, unfortunately, because when you get to like the Jigsaw and the bad guy stuff, it's really over the top compared to the Punisher side of things.
The difference between Warzone and the other one is like Warzone is basically a movie for people who want to say, hey, you want to see the Punisher just kill a bunch of people in a movie like the Punisher is supposed to do?
I don't hear anything wrong with what you're saying.
Yeah.
I can't hear anything wrong with what you're saying. I want to hear the Punisher. I want to see the Punisher kill people.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the Punisher first one is right up after it. So there you go.
Wait till they make the brand new version of the Punisher from the comic book.
Punisher social worker. Yeah.
I broke it now. I'm totally gonna punish you.
You want to see Punisher be very, very stern with people?
Yes.
Is it just me, or are all 3 of these tied for 29%?
Yeah, they are.
The new version of the Punisher is going to be a DEI consultant.
Remember when Thomas Jane did that
canoe trunk?
Remember when Thomas Jane did that 10-minute Punisher short like 10 years ago, and that the whole project went nowhere?
Dirty Laundry, yeah, it was great.
Yep.
So the next one's way too low.
Yeah, Batman v Superman. Now this is a
my
movie
God.
that this deserves to be in the top 10. It's
Top
not top 4.
See, I'd argue Warzone is a more enjoyable movie than this one.
Absolutely. Like, yeah, this is like the bottom of the barrel.
Yes.
Did you guys know their mothers both name is Martha?
Martha.
Why did you say that name?
Why did you say that name?
It's Paul McCartney's sheepdog, Martha.
Martha, my dear.
Martha, my dear.
No mystery here.
Yep. This was a terrible movie.
Terrible. Fantastic.
Oh my God! This is number 1. I'm sorry. I was
this is the album one. This is the Tim Story
top
one.
15.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay. My bad.
No, does it really deserve to be on the worst list?
No,
I mean, it's not good.
I don't think it deserves to be on the worst list at all.
No, I was just thinking of Fantastic. This does not belong. Maybe not quite in the list, considering what's been bad. I'll go ahead and say no.
You know, just for chickless.
You know why it doesn't deserve it? Because I think, well, first of all, up until the series with Galactus, the Fantastic Four were really a third-tier comic book team. I'm sorry, they were not number 1.
They were the flagship of the Marvel Universe before any of it, though.
After the Galacticus series, but before it, they were garbage.
Actually, I can't agree. They were there's no Marvel Universe without the Fantastic Four.
Okay, well, we can just. Personally, I thought they were terrible comics prior to Galactus. But anyway, we can argue with that later. My point is that I thought this was a pretty authentic representation of what it was like to read the Fantastic Four come to life. Like it felt like it was on newsprint, if I can characterize it that way. I could smell the newsprint in this movie.
I would
thought
say
it was
this
simple,
movie's worst
fun.
sin is it's basically middle of the road. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
extremely flawed, but yeah, you're right. It's not belonging on this list. I'm with you there.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I made a mistake. I just jumped the gun to Fan 4 Stick right away. That was my bad.
Then we got Ghost Rider. Let me see if I can zoom this a little better.
Man.
Oh, there we go. That's what I wanted.
Ghost Rider. There's worse stuff, but it's not that good.
I got the Blu-ray and the DVD still.
Yeah. I'm starting to think that superhero movies in the 2000s weren't very good.
I probably watched this movie 20 times.
What?
It's not that bad. I mean, there's a lot worse. This is kind of in the Fantastic Four 2005 range. Like,
yeah. I mean, the second one, however, but that'll be on here, I'm sure.
Spirit of Vengeance. It's got to be on here higher up.
Hey, I got the 3D version here.
I just got the.
Oh dear, there you go.
Clearly, I like all the bad ones.
What are we at, number 31? Oh wow,
there's a lot more to go.
Yeah, we got a few to go here. No, I don't know if this necessarily belongs on the list. Here we go. Now we're talking shit that belongs on the list.
Top 10.
Don't make the costume green and animated.
Oh,
you know what? I own this movie and I love this movie.
Really?
And I know I shouldn't, but I'm such a hardcore Green Lantern fan. It's like the only Green Lantern I've gotten that wasn't animated, so I took it.
The worst part of the movie is the Green Lantern. That's the sad part in the special effects. And the fart
I don't know about that.
I mean, this film is so bad they can race swap him as a black guy and nobody really argue against it.
The villain, I thought the villain was the worst part of this movie. The villain was the worst part of this movie.
I mean, the casting for the most part was good, but the rest of it sucked. That's my point.
Hector Hammond was horrible. Parallax was horrible.
Parallax was awful.
Mark Strong is great as Sinestro, and therefore you don't get enough Sinestro.
That's
you
what I
don't
was
get
saying.
enough of the
It's
good
that
stuff.
kind of shit. Yeah.
This movie suffers from what a lot of movies like this suffer from, is that the producers can't just calm down, take a few of the good comic books, mash them together. No, I need to mash together 20 comic books and then get a movie out of it. I can't figure out how to just take a couple of them and just calmly get the ball rolling, enjoy the characters. Nope. I got to take 20 of them, mash them together.
It's like the cinematic equivalent of just taking a bunch of singles to a strip club and throwing them in the air.
Basically. They do this a lot. They did this with Tintin. It drove me nuts. They're just not mature enough to understand how to get the ball rolling.
Well, and this is also of that era. Sorry, Claudia. I was just gonna say it's also of that era that, following Marvel, they're like, oh, we gotta, like, you're kind of going off of what you're just saying, Paul, is we've got to set this up for sequels instead of worrying about this movie and this movie only.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Claudia.
No, I was going to say, I knew we were in trouble about a year before this film came out, reading an interview with this idiot director. Yeah, I know he just directed, Casino Royale or whatever. When he was being interviewed, as they often are, about a new project, asked what makes Green Lantern special, why do you like Green Lantern, why are you doing it, all that stuff. And he said, basically, what I really like about Green Lantern is anybody could be one. Like, so you've never read a Green Lantern comic, apparently. The Ring chooses the most worthy person for the ring. I hate to use the word literally and how it's been abused, but you could not be more wrong about the character and the concept of the Rings of Oa and the Guardians of the Universe and Green Lantern. Hal Jordan is an extraordinary, exceptional person. So is John Stewart and other Green Lanterns, and
just be glad we didn't get the Jack Black one.
So that guy, as soon as I read that, I'm like, this movie's done. It's going to be garbage.
Do you guys remember when we were going to get a Jack Black Green Lantern movie?
No. I heard jokes about
it was supposed to be bad. We actually did a video on DC projects that never got made, and that was one of them that made the list. And yeah, he was supposed to be basically playing like somebody like himself, who's a comedian actor.
Gets the Green Lantern ring.
Chooses him on accident. Yeah. So it was more like Greatest American Hero than it was Green Lantern at the end of the day.
They tried that in the comics with Kyle Rayner, and he was garbage.
That might even been the character he was playing.
Lantern.
What was that? Sorry, Mike.
Kyle Rayner doesn't even count. Kyle doesn't count.
Agreed. Kyle Rayner sucks.
Kyle Rayner sucks.
So does Rob Reiner. We got Suicide Squad next. Yeah, this definitely deserves to be on the fucking list.
Terrible.
Yes.
I can't forgive them for what they did to Joel Kinnaman's character. I don't want to say anymore if anybody ever wants to watch it as a spoiler, but
I remember that this is actually a really good soundtrack, but the movie is dog shit.
I know it wasn't in this movie that happened, but
yeah.
I still can't forgive them.
I will say this: if you watch the unedited available version, the what do you call it, the unreleased,
I don't
version,
think it's much better, but yeah,
I actually think it is because it actually gives you context for a lot of the things people call out as bad.
I agree with culture, so finally we agree on something.
I don't hate the movie overall. I think I actually gave this, of all the early DC movies, if you go, I think I took them down now, but my original reviews before I was ever part of Midnight's Edge, this was the only DC movie to get a decent review from me. I gave it a 7 out of 10.
Wow.
I didn't hate it.
It was just because it was watchable. It was not obnoxious and dark like Man of Steel and Batman v Superman were. And it did have a good soundtrack. I thought the cast was decent.
Yeah, sure. Kill off the First Nations guy first.
Well, that part bothered me. And there was some other shit. Oh, don't get me wrong. There's plenty of shit that was bad about it. But at the time, I was just like, compared to the rest of the DC universe, it got a 7 mainly just because of that. Like now, I'd probably barely give it a 6, probably.
I hate Jared Leto.
Oh, he's the worst part.
Yeah,
he is the worst part.
Atrocious.
Me and my girlfriend dressed up as this version of Joker and Harley Quinn from
that has got to be hands down the worst Joker of all time. Like
I don't know. I got super laid that weekend.
You know what's sad, Paul, is I would have had no problem with his Joker had we find out that he's Jason Todd, and he's not really the Joker, and there's another Joker out there
at least, yeah.
Like, and especially before they had put Willem Dafoe in anything, and they had him play an older Joker, that would have been a fucking maze of balls.
Oh,
Valiant,
and he would have put. I don't care if Valiant's got to go.
What?
I got to go too.
What? We just got started.
Well, there's lots of there. You got.
I had a few minutes. No, my wife just got home.
You got the A team there. You don't
ready for school tomorrow. So.
Paul, you are the A team.
Valiant's got to go. Valiant, thanks for saying all your people over. Good night.
Yeah, some
Valiant. I was happy to do it. Happy to do it.
Thank you for being here, Valiant. Even though you were here for 2 seconds.
About 20 minutes.
No, every moment counts.
At least he shows up for your show, Tom.
Oh, he's throwing some guilt at you, man. Holy shit.
Oh, my God. I will try to get to the point where I can YouTube 24 hours a day.
Good.
Well, me and Culture can do it. Why can't you?
Yeah, why can't you step up?
What's stopping you from streaming this way?
A life.
Common sense.
Mikey, you just be quiet. You're a YouTuber.
The fact that Valiant values his time.
All right, Mikey.
Keep going.
I just get brutal
all night long. Oh shit! Why is that still in his
I've been nice to you since you haven't been around, and now you have made me pull this out.
Did I delete that tweet? How does that?
No.
He screenshotted it. You got to deal with that, I guess.
I've got this thing framed.
Oh God, I bet he really does too.
He might actually.
Thank you, Valiant. Check out
guys.
Valiant's
I love y'all. I
channel.
wish I could stick
Thank
around.
you for the raid.
You guys better Valiant.
Have a good one.
Love y'all. Take care.
Thanks, man.
Take care. And Paul, are you serious?
Valiant.
Are you serious about leaving?
I do have to leave soon.
Okay,
Whip through
couple
a couple
more.
Yeah, a couple more, and then I gotta go.
Yeah. Anybody else want to say anything more about the Suicide Squad?
Oh, the director recently came out and said there were some bad decisions made on Jared Leto's appearance.
Boy, howdy.
Blade Trinity. All right, here we're talking.
It's pretty bad.
Directed by one of the worst people in fucking Hollywood.
Oh God, yeah.
Why you guys really hate Goyer, don't you?
I do.
Yes, I hate Goyer.
He's
At least Jessica Biel got in shape for it.
Yeah, she looked hot.
There's not a lot of actresses in the superhero movies these days you'll be seeing hit the gym.
The only thing good about this movie was the weed that it bought Wesley Snipes. That was the only good thing, I'm sure.
They put Triple H in this movie. I just want to throw that out there.
And they have Ryan Reynolds playing not Deadpool.
Yeah, totally not Deadpool.
I quite like it, but
it has its moments, I'm sure, for fans. But this was a huge step down. Sorry,
he was playing Hannibal King, who was a Marvel character,
but he was more like Deadpool. That was my point. Like, yeah.
We may look back on it fondly in a year or two. You never know.
I've not watched it in I don't know how many years, to be honest with you. I probably haven't watched it since 2004. I do have the Blu-ray trilogy, so maybe I'll watch it one of these days. But
does anybody believe the new Blade will actually happen?
No,
it doesn't look like it, does it?
Not likely. I mean,
it's one of those movies that they'd be better off just giving up on at this point.
Agreed.
Maybe they might make a TV show or something.
It would make a better TV show.
Yeah. If they were the right people were there.
Nobody wants to see Blade's purple-haired lesbian daughter, who's also named Blade.
That's what Disney wants to give you, so keep that in mind. Bulletproof Monk. Does this deserve to be on here? Was this?
Yeah, it wasn't. I mean, it's barely. No.
I was gonna say I thought this was fairly well received.
Fine. What was wrong with this?
It's quite amusing. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, I don't understand why this is even on here.
I don't know either. Silly.
It was completely serviceable within the context of the Hong Kong kung fu style.
Yeah, it's cute.
Unless somebody in the chat can give us a good reason why this should be on here, we're gonna keep going.
Yeah.
Okay, now here's something that actually we can.
What?
I don't know about all this.
This is the Sly one.
Yeah, Slice was fine.
I don't hate it, but I understand why it's on the list.
As a Dredd fan, as a Judge Dredd fan, has kept the comic book character for years, I dreaded that he was going to be cast. But most of the things in the film, other than him, look really good as far as the comic. It's just that it's still Stallone.
It turns into a Sylvester Stallone movie.
Yeah, a lot of it's faithful, a lot of it's not, but it doesn't belong here compared to other bad movies.
Yeah, I don't think this belongs on the list, though. I mean,
I haven't met a lot of famous people, but I did have a chat with Armand Asante in a bar once about it, and he was quite fond of it. But
I mean,
I actually enjoyed this film a lot, even though it wasn't accurate. I enjoyed this a lot.
Yeah,
well, I'm probably the only one on the planet that doesn't like the other ones, but don't get me started. I'm a Dredd fanatic.
True.
Judge Dredd fanatic.
I say most people do hold the newer one.
Oh,
to
they
a much
love that
higher.
Carl Urban one. I mean, he's great, but anyway, don't get me started.
Tom, you have to talk about this in the Sly's Judge Dredd voice. So
I thought the movie was pretty good. You know, you got me, and I like. Why you want me in a helmet? Take it off.
The law.
I am the law.
But no, the Lawmaster looked great. The Lawgiver was cool. His uniform was nice. The ABC Warriors, the Cursed Earth parts. There's a lot of really good stuff from comics.
Yeah.
This as far as visually, this was far more faithful than the Detroit Shootout, that other movie that everyone loves.
There's people that would debate you on that, Clubby. That would be an interesting debate.
They could bring it on. I've been having that debate for 12 years. I even gave the movie a second chance and then went on to some channels just to, I don't know. It's just me. It's a losing battle. I've lost that a long time ago. Sorry.
But I am the law.
But I am the law. But I am the law.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll keep going. Oh, yeah. This should be here.
This is the reason this list exists right here.
Oh, yeah. Why isn't this number one?
This should definitely
we put a British drunk on the front line of our movie, and we wonder why it flopped.
Well, this was just ill-conceived from the start. First of all, you're retreading ground you already tread in the X-Men universe, regardless if it wasn't this fucking cast. Who cares, right? Like, there's 100 million freaking X-Men stories. Why are we going back to Dark Phoenix? Dark Phoenix is like the death of Superman of Marvel shit. It's like they need to get past it. Get over it. Move on.
They can't do it right either. So stop. I mean, if you're going to, they've taken 2 cracks at it.
The only reason the whole Dark Phoenix thing worked anyway was because Jean Grey was such a long and beloved character. That was the tragedy of it.
And guys like fantasizing of the Dark Phoenix bit of it.
And
too.
quite frankly, it's Famke. That's that's Phoenix. I'm sorry. There's no other Phoenix.
Yeah, I agree. She made the character even more popular than she already was.
Oh my!
Famke was fantastic as Phoenix.
Oh yeah. Yes, sir.
But yeah, this was just an ill-conceived notion to try and retread this ground again, poorly, as Clobby pointed out. Yeah. Thunder Force. Well,
what?
Oh my lord!
Oh,
I never saw it.
Never seen it.
Never saw it either. I mean, it doesn't even qualify. Should this even qualify? I'm not trying to stick up for the movie, but
are they supposed to be comic?
This would be like putting Meteor Man on here or something. Sorry.
Yeah.
This doesn't even look like a film that's worthy of like goofing on when you're at home and have literally nothing else to do.
Right.
Like, that's what I mean. Is it even worthy to make it on the worst kind of list like this?
I mean, can you even define it as a superhero movie? Because it's really a comedy that has two characters who are apparently superheroes. It's not a superhero movie.
I'm not so sure about this.
Thunder Force doesn't exist in any universe outside of this movie.
Yeah.
What are you gonna have next on here? My super ex-girlfriend or some shit?
Thunder Farts.
The only reason I would put it here is that if women are insistent on usurping men in the as superheroes, then if we're gonna take it on the chin, then you can fucking take it on the chin too, bitch.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well done.
Well,
I wish Paul would tell us what he really thought.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. You know what's worse than this one is the fucking sequel.
I didn't mind this. I'm sorry.
It's not as bad as Mutant Mayhem, but that's the best I can say about it.
Okay.
Has there ever been a good Ninja Turtles movie?
Yeah, the original.
Elias Koteas.
Yeah,
Yes.
1990.
Canadian
In
kid.
fact, I would argue that that's one of the most comic accurate superhero comic book movies out there, next to Superman the movie.
I love the first one. But
The second one's not even that bad. I mean, yeah, it's a step down, but it's not like, it could be a hell of a lot worse. It could be Ninja Turtles 3.
But is this really better than Blade 3?
Oh, yes, it is.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Or
I haven't even seen it. I'm saying yes.
I've seen this. I saw this.
Well, I think, what way are these going? Because
this
is getting from best to worst. Yeah, I was gonna say this is best to worst.
It is a countdown, I guess.
Yeah, it's the actual countdown. Yeah,
got that wrong. Yeah, it is. So it is being classed as worse than all the other ones so far.
Yeah, I mean, before I get too deep into how bad this shit is there anybody who needs to step out? I know, Paul, you said you had to leave soon, and Mikey as well.
In a minute, I gotta go.
Was not good in this.
And you gotta go too.
Yeah, buddy.
And,
okay, so who's gonna run first? Go ahead and take your moment of.
I'm gonna go.
All right, so go ahead and
thanks everyone for having me. Enjoy the rest of the list. I will look forward to what was number one. You'll have to tell me tomorrow.
Yes.
And
I'll
a
do my best to
pleasure.
remember.
So good to always be connected with you guys and on the same show together. It's always fun. So a video of mine is dropping tomorrow. Like a real good giant shit. They always feel good. So
wow.
Nice.
Polished though, a polished turd.
Polished turd.
Yes.
That's right. That's right. Anyways, so long everyone. Have a wonderful rest of the weekend.
Good night, sir.
All right.
Good night.
See you, Paul.
Poser.
All right, who's next?
I shall run. I have to go be over there.
All right, Clobby.
Thank you, sir.
All right,
Thanks for hanging out, everybody. Good to see you all. And have a wonderful remainder of your night, ladies and gentlemen.
See you, Clobby.
Take care,
See you, buddy.
Bye, Clobby.
I feel like I'm in the band Genesis. It just keeps dropping members every couple of years.
Well, I feel like I'm going to get dropped here soon because I got to go get ready for my show. Yeah. I know Mikey isn't going to show up again tonight. So.
I like how you got to go. It's only 7:30. What time is it where you're at? Is it 7:30 or 8:30 where you're at?
Yeah, it's getting late. I'm tired.
It's 9:30 here.
It's 10:30 where I'm at, buddy.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, don't go nowhere, folks. We still got more of this list to go, but
Let's go.
Culture's
Let's go.
leaving. Go. Who's
Bye.
sticking
See ya.
around and who's
See you
leaving?
later, buddy.
I can do
can
a few
stay,
more. Let's
but-
go.
All
For
right.
all that I'm worth, I can stay.
All right.
Let's go.
I was
Next
just giving
speed
everybody
run,
a
baby.
chance
Let's
to
do it.
leave. Oh, speed run nothing. I'm doing what I want to do. Culture can kiss my butt.
Oh, go.
And he usually does.
We're gonna wave him
I was
in like a
gonna
third
gripe-
base coach.
I was
Like,
going to gripe about Ninja Turtles, but then they got Ninja Turtles
my
3 right
God.
after that. Honestly, I'd flip-flop these because I've made the argument that Ninja Turtles 3 is bad, but it ain't that bad if you cut out some of the modernism bullshit. Them going through time is nothing out of the ordinary. They did weirder shit in the comics. In fact, in the Archie run, they traveled through space in a fucking cow's head. So this is not out of the ordinary or wacky, too wacky for Ninja Turtles in that respect. But I know nobody else is going to comment but me. So, okay. Now here's your Spirit of Vengeance. Who wants to talk about that?
Oh,
Well,
Never saw it.
I don't think it's that bad, but you know.
yeah. I mean,
Have you seen Terminator 2, Mike?
Of course.
Have you seen Nicolas Cage drunk?
Yes.
Then you've seen it.
Exactly. It's worth it just for that.
He walks around for some reason when he's Ghost Rider like he's drunk, and then the story is pretty much Terminator 2.
Yeah, there's worse things. I mean, it's one of those things. If there's certain superhero movies I will turn off and run from. This one I would probably sit down. Like, if it's a slow night, I'll sit down and watch it. I'm not.
Hate it.
Yeah, it's
I acknowledge it's nothing original, but I don't hate it.
Yeah.
But according to Read by Nature, it's unwatchable. And I should not be comparing to. Well, I'm sorry. It's the same story. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying it's as good as or anything.
No, it doesn't mean you're talking about quality. No.
Here's one that I'm not so sure. Does this really belong on here? I mean, it's not a horrible adaptation. It's not great, but it was made at that really wonky time of comic book movies.
It was made during that time where we really hadn't hammered down computer effects just quite yet.
And all that shit, yeah.
I don't recall that director. Did he do anything else?
I don't know. I don't hate this movie.
Hey, like many of the others on this list, it's okay. I mean, you could squint at it in the right light, and it's okay.
Yeah.
But
I mean, obviously, the PG-13 version sucks for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you can only get the unrated now version, but
it's really kind of forgettable in a lot of ways.
Well, it was one of those superhero movies before superhero movies became superhero movies.
Yeah, because it's pre X-Men and Spider-Man. Yeah, came out the same year as the original Blade, didn't it? 97, isn't in that same year?
Well, it'd be well overshadowed by that because that's a great movie. So.
Well, the New Line was the only one who had the balls to be putting these movies out. That's one of the reasons why I kind of give this one a pass. It's like, was it great? No, but sticks close enough to the source material.
It.
Yeah. So, all right, let's keep moving on.
I'm Mexican.
League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. The movie
I love this movie.
The movie that ended Sean Connery's career.
I love this movie. I've seen it like 1,000 times.
I agree with the critics' consensus. It actually could have been a brilliant movie. It's a great premise, but they just didn't do it well, which is a real shame. I mean, it could have been great.
I don't hate it.
Could have been great.
It has like an Avengers vibe to it. I like the idea of taking these literary characters or the descendants of, like with the daughter of Dracula and whatnot. Jekyll and Hyde, it clearly feels like a Hulk thing, and you kind of got like a bit of a, Sean Connery's a great leader and almost like a...
Is Sean Connery a better Quatermain than Richard Chamberlain, though? This is
I don't know. I guess that's a good question.
I
forgot that he was playing. They list him here, and I forgot that's who he was playing. It was Alan Quatermain. Yeah, it says including Alan Quatermain, Vampiress, Mina Harker from Dracula, The Invisible Man.
Yeah, it's a great premise with a great cast, but it was just terrible. Didn't seem to go anywhere in the movie. Didn't go anywhere.
I remember it bombed at the box office. I think it was really popular on video because it was one of those that came out when I was working at.
Yeah,
I think it was a mom and pop at that point.
It's plot wise. I just kept waiting for it to get to the point. It's like, was that it? I was disappointed.
Could have been better, but it's a sad part, I guess, or the most famous thing about it. It was the end of Connery's career.
Yeah, he was thinking of packing it in anyway.
Well, and this was the movie he passed up Lord of the Rings for, or whatever. Or it was after that, but it still was like he passed that up, and then he did this shit, and it was like,
yes, he'd been to New Zealand often enough in his life. He didn't feel.
I think it was partially his agent's fault, and just he didn't want I think that's too. He didn't want to spend a couple of years in New Zealand. And
there's a few. He made a few missteps at various times, but hey, that's
Turbo, a Power Ranger movie. So this would be the sequel, not the original one. I never saw this crap. I saw the original movie.
Yeah.
I think the story for this one was very bad, but in all honesty, the effects were significantly better than the original Power Rangers movie. So it was an improvement on the effects, but the story was just awful.
There you go. And I don't see too many people sticking up for it in the chat yet, so.
I don't think I've ever seen it.
I didn't see it.
Me either. Underdog. I did see this one. I think this was another one that was just ill-conceived. I think they forgot what the original cartoon was in a way. And they tried to make it too serious, and it was made in 2007 when superheroes were in their original, the Spider-Man, X-Men movies were big. They really tried to cash in on that instead of actually just making it like an animated film like they should have probably, I think. Because that other one they did, the Sherman and Peabody movie, I think that worked a lot better than this one did, in my opinion. I don't know if you guys have seen that one, but...
I think you're right. Animation would have worked far better.
Yeah. Well, and I think they it wasn't really underdog. Like, it's like, it was kind of, but it wasn't. It was really Disneyfied. And it just really lost the tongue-in-cheek humor that for those who don't know, it's from the same people who made like Rocky and Bullwinkle and George of the Jungle and all that kind of shit. And they also made Sherman and Peabody. And so it had that kind of humor.
Peabody.
What was that? Go ahead.
I love Sherman and Peabody.
And did you see the movie they did a couple of years, like 10 years ago or whatever?
No.
It's actually pretty good. It's not horrible. It's decent. And I thought if they would have went more with that kind of a route with it, it would have worked better. But no, it was just a bad move. Oh, this does not belong on this list. This is the greatest superhero movie of all times.
It made a cajillion.
I didn't. After you, were you the one that saw it, told me to go watch it, Tom?
Probably, because I didn't hate it.
I didn't hate it.
Andre didn't hate it either.
It was okay.
The funniest part about this film is that Sony actually bought into the meme and put it back in theaters, only for it to flop a second time.
That's right.
That was kind of funny. That was kind of funny. I will admit.
Yeah. It was the best superhero movie released that week. I remember.
Like, that's the thing is you have to when you recommend it to people, like you have to give it to them in a sense, like, it's not a good movie. It's basically the Room of superhero movies because the movie takes itself so deathly serious.
The Room of superhero.
Yeah. It is. It really is. It is one of those glorious things that it has no idea how bad it is that it swings back around to being entertainingly funny.
You think if we memed it hard enough, they would release it again?
Yes.
I mean, this movie is just incredibly boring. That was my biggest thing about it.
I didn't find it as boring. I'm sorry. I found it extremely entertaining in a bad way.
Jacob has got a point. I think it was a lot less.
Well, what did you think, Mike?
It was.
You ended up liking it, though. You ended up.
Yeah, I thought it was. I actually got into it.
It's cheesy as fuck. Yes.
Yeah, but cheesy shit.
It's basically a Saturday morning cartoon.
Well, yeah. I mean, look, I'm glad I watched it on my home TV screen and didn't actually go to the movies.
Right.
This one. Like I think had I gone to the movies on this one, I think I'd be pissed.
Yeah, I think Joey's right. Ed Wood is spinning in his grave over jealousy of Morbin time. Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
And whoever wrote the consensus doesn't know how to spell the word vein correctly. They've used the wrong spelling. That's just a pedant in me.
But anyway. Oh, Howard. Why is Howard on here? Is he technically a superhero?
It's a comic
I guess
book.
he saves the galaxy. I mean,
quack.
Yes. Yeah. He's a quack. Yeah.
I don't know if this really deserves to be on here.
I wouldn't have thought of putting it on here at all, but not because of quality, just because I don't know if it belongs. But
that's what I mean. I'm not so sure.
But it's actually a lot of fun, really.
I mean, yeah, technically, yes, it's a Marvel movie.
It's not
technically, it's the first Marvel movie. Believe it or not.
I guess so. It's not a bad movie. I actually think it's better than they've given it credit for here. Maybe it should have been in the 30s.
I don't hate
15.
it.
Yeah.
I think people miss the fact of how much it actually does adhere to the comic. The bigger problem was that the writers didn't understand Howard the Duck. And then you had them also trying to make sure, they were skirting that line between just letting Howard be Howard and the movie kind of, I get it. At the time it came out, it had a lot of awkward shit in it. Like the sex scene and all that kind of business really kind of, lack of sex scene or however you want to put it.
Somebody didn't get ducked, is what you're saying.
Yeah, but in hindsight, I don't know. Okay, here we go. The Spirit.
Jeez,
is this one that you could kind of look at it as Frank tried, right? He had a vision. He was using the technology and what they did with Sin City to try and do this.
Well, that's the problem, though.
I never saw it.
It's a Sin City clone,
It's very unwatchable at the end of the day. I mean, I give him credit for trying, but that's the best I can do.
I'd forgotten all about it till it came up on this list.
I'm trying to think. Do I even own it? I don't think I do.
God, there's actually some movie that you don't own. Wow.
Oh, there's a few, but yeah, that says a lot.
Tom's even got the 4K of The Room.
No, there is no 4K.
I'm just kidding.
Or I
But
would
Tom's
have
got the 4K.
I would.
Tom's got the 4K of The Notebook.
No,
I'll bet he has. I'll bet he has.
Steel. Okay.
My God.
I can see why this is on here.
I knew that there couldn't possibly be a list of this caliber without Steel being on there.
I mean, this is kind of the reasons these lists exist, right? Like,
I mean, look, this is the movie that they came out with because the Lakers were trying to entice Shaq to come to LA. And it's like, hey, you can go be a movie star in our town, and then they made this.
You know why I never saw it is because they completely erase any of Superman's connection to this character. That's why
Probably because they didn't have the rights.
Maybe.
I think they would have had to pay extra for that part, I think is the whole point. Yeah. I can't remember who put it out, but I think
there's an argument that it should be even higher on this list. 13 is doing it a favor, but
we've had a lot of stinkers in the last few years, Brian.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I was just
they make some of these look kind of quaint.
How many Phase 4 Marvel movies have been released? Because is there 12? Because they would fit quite nicely in the.
Well, that's just it. This is going by, I think, critic ratings, and the critics love that.
They love them, don't they? Yeah. There's one I really
this is the most unbelievable part. Yeah.
There's one
Zach
movie,
is a scientist, right?
There's one movie that might be on here that I'll really be upset if it is, but we'll see. It might not be on here at all. But keep going.
Yeah, I'll believe Shaq as a rapper more than I believe him as a scientist.
Yeah, that's right.
Doesn't he still have like an unreleased rap album or some shit like that? That was so bad.
I could believe he'd wear a metal suit just
with
for
the
fun.
hip.
But
I did start. I did a new rap song to start off the show today. Let's grab some of the audience chats here. We got Aurora Uplinks, who's been here for 4 months. We got Icthulu, who says invalid list without Turkish Spider-Man. There's a point there.
You'll be criticizing Indian Batman next. And all that
Yeah, Morgan King has been here for 2 years. Thank you, Morgan King, and happy anniversary. Mike, were you going to say something there? It sounded like you were going.
No, go ahead.
Okay. He just wants us to get through this list because he wants to go to bed.
Yeah, I'm like falling asleep here, but
Batman
I don't want to
and Robin. You know what? I'm not going to go through my whole spiel with this, but I am going to say this does not belong on the list now.
What?
I've made my argument on why
God,
Batman and Robin is a much better movie
does.
in hindsight than it was when it first came out.
Oh God!
I'll tell you one thing about this movie. It's one of the worst edited movies I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, this movie
It gave me a headache watching it. The editing was so bad.
Compared to some shit, though, this movie has gone up my list.
This movie sucks.
And Andre makes up the exact point. It's better than all the superhero movies we've gotten in the past 4 years, sans maybe one or two exceptions.
True.
This movie's super.
And no, I didn't hit my head. I just watched it recently for the first time in God knows how many years.
This movie sucks.
And I laughed my ass off at it.
This movie
And
sucks.
I didn't laugh at it in a sense. Okay, let me rephrase that. I didn't laugh at it. I laughed with it. I got the jokes. I got what Schumacher was doing this time. Whatever it was I missed the first 2 or 3 times I saw this movie, it clicked with me this time. And I'm like, all right, Joel, I get what you were doing. This is Batman, the comedy. This is Batman, the 60s, cheesy, fun Batman. And I had fun with it. Is it a good movie? No. Does it belong on the worst list of all time, though? I don't think so.
Should it be in the
This
cooler?
is your Blue Beetle.
This is kind of my Blue Beetle now. I don't know about that. It's more my Morbius is still my Blue Beetle, but
I agree, Tom. I mean, but much as I don't like it, it's way better than some of the crap we've had in the last 2 or 3 years.
it is aged much better. It may not have aged like wine, but it's definitely aged like fine cheese. How's that?
In a year or two, when we revisit this and you get to look forward to Taika Waititi's Thor 5, I think this will be pretty good.
You're probably not right. And that's the thing, is maybe because I've seen all this garbage in the last few years that I watching it this last time, I'm just like, you know what? This is not as bad as, people have made it out to be in the last few years. It's just like, it doesn't deserve all this shit. And Nick S says, Batman and Robin is all about the puns. Love it. Exactly.
Yeah, they're good. Yeah.
And ActionCom 97 was a hell of a year. I agree. I hated this movie in theaters. I wanted to walk out. Totally wanted to walk out. But I've seen it 2 or 3 times since just to make sure I wasn't wrong. No, even then I'm like, nope, this is a horrible fucking movie. But I've watched it for the first time in probably, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 years, at least somewhere in there. Like not too long ago. And I had that long speech on the show. I don't think you were on that show, Mikey, because you must have missed it. But I made my argument as to why Batman and Robin is better than the Batman. And not only that, it's a better Batman movie than we've given it credit for over the years. I accept Joel Schumacher's apology wholeheartedly. But Jonah Hex is a movie I don't accept. Even at the short ass chopped up running time that it runs, it was a horrible movie.
So I thought you were going to say you didn't accept this place on this list. It's like, I remember it being pretty bad.
It's bad.
Mm-hmm.
I think, what is it, like an hour and 16 minutes long? It's really short and it's still bad.
Yeah. It's like you could tell they just had nothing for this. They just wanted to use the IP.
Pretty much.
Agreed. Yeah.
Toxie was gifted memberships? No, I did not see that. I missed that. It did not come up in our thing.
I'm going out at number 10. What's number 10?
Michael Fassbender's made a few appearances in this list, I think.
Yeah, he has. And Toxic Man Flu, thank you so much for the 5 memberships. You didn't have to do that, brother. I know you tried to be here tonight, but he's helping the missus out tonight, and that's totally understandable. Trust me, I understand, recovering myself, so I feel her pains. Well, I'm sure she's in much more pain than I am. So, but well, she's got to learn to quit throwing meat at you. That's all there is to it. Here we go. This belongs here. This belongs here. It's probably in about the right spot. Crow City of Angels, one of the biggest insults to the Lee family, one of the biggest insults to the fans. If you look up cash in underneath in the encyclopedia, this is probably the first entry. This movie, I felt dirty seeing it in the theater.
Wow.
Well, it does. It's a pure cash in. It's like they're literally cashing in off the corpse of Brandon Lee at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a real shame Iggy Pop was in it because he was supposed to be in the first movie.
He's supposed to be in the first movie, actually. Yeah.
And it's a damn shame that didn't happen.
Yeah.
But Tim Pope wasn't he? He's mainly music videos.
Well, this was that it.
Yeah.
I was gonna say they should have just gotten Sting to be in the movie. Maybe that would have saved it.
Yeah, this is that era when if you were a music video director, that was your way.
I guess he directed music videos for The Cure, so that qualified him to make The Crow.
Pretty much, I guess. Yeah, he probably directed the Cure video for the first film or something. Shit.
I mean,
there's only one Crow movie. Yeah.
Today you got pretty much hip hop music directors doing movies now, so why not?
This almost goes to like Highlander 2 levels. That's where Brian, I think, would understand where I'm at with this movie.
Sorry, your voice disappeared for 2 words there. I couldn't.
There's this movie that doesn't exist this movie exists in the same place.
This theoretical movie that doesn't exist. Yeah,
exactly.
I know the one you mean. I know the one you mean. The one that was mentioned but never happened.
But I find it very weird. It's very comparable to that. Yes.
Yeah.
And then we got Elektra, which I'm sure Paul wishes he was here for because he hates this fucking movie.
And again, it's such a waste because Terrence Stamp is such a wonderful actor, and here he is.
Well, this is one of those ill-conceived notions of trying to create a franchise off of something before you even had a good first movie.
Yep. Yeah, totally forgettable. Yep.
All right. Nobody wants to say more than that about it. Quest for Peace.
Well, you see, I'd have to give them credit for trying, but not trying very hard.
This movie sucked.
It does, but I'm not so sure it deserves to be this high on the list.
Somebody mentioned the editing in the chat. And
it does suck, but
it was true it was edited badly, but that's because there was no money. I don't think anybody actually ended up really editing
as far as like, and Brian would know just from our Canon Club talk, how this movie was a money laundering scheme at the end of the day, and I feel worse for Christopher Reeve than anybody in the whole situation.
Well, the only reason he did it was to get that other movie he wanted that Cannon made.
Yeah, well, and he was going to make another Superman film too, as well, and this was his baby, but they didn't have any money.
He
flat out said that in interviews.
Broker than broke. Yeah, it was like they were literally pre-selling stuff and taking that money in bags of cash and handing it to this movie to get made. Same with Masters of the Universe. They were just broke, flat out broke.
So I don't blame the movie, Christopher Reeve, or any of that shit. Part of the story, I will argue, is yes, ill-conceived because it does break one of the golden rules of Superman. And that is you never have Superman either interfere with wars or nuclear war or anything like that, because it's too close to home. It's something Superman can't do anything about because it's just one of those unwritten rules, right? Like, you know, it's kind of this, it started during World War II. It was like, okay, you can have like Hitler being punched on the cover, but we can't have Superman involved in the war because Superman could end World War II right now. That's the problem.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's too disrespectful for the people who are actually involved with the war and stuff like that. So ever since then, there's been like kind of unwritten rules that Superman, and they kind of melded it into the story with, you know, Jor-El saying he can't interfere with him in history kind of thing.
It's a real shame that it was made in the first place, this movie.
It is.
It
should have ended with Superman 3 and that'd have been
it is. It's a real shame.
But it is what it is.
Pretty bad. Yeah. I don't know.
The Clavy's gone.
So have you seen the extra footage though? That I mean, I don't have the deluxe,
yeah. I mean,
I've not seen that.
It's all on the DVD and Blu-rays now.
Yeah.
It's not finished footage, but there's this guy who's out there working on fixing the movie and working in some of that footage, I think. So I'm looking forward to seeing.
Yeah, that might be interesting. I'm not.
Well, it's kind of cool because there's a whole nother Superman we didn't get to see that because you know, he makes Nuclear Man. Well, the first Nuclear Man didn't turn out right, so he's more like a bizarro Superman. So it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Okay, I got to bail out.
You're gonna bail out on Fantastic Four. We're on the top 7 here. All right, Mikey. I love you, brother. Hopefully,
I love you. I'll be listening, but I gotta let Bambino out. I got a bunch of stuff I can do for next hour.
Buddy.
Give him hugs.
All right, bye.
See you Wednesday, Mike.
Thanks for having me.
See you, Mikey. Love you, brother. All right, Fantastic Four. Yeah, I bet Klobby was wishing he was here for this one. I mean, what can we say that Midnight's Edge hasn't already said about this movie?
It's a pile of steaming poo.
Yep, it's a shame because what's his face? Did the voice for Silver Surfer was actually Fan Forstick. Never mind.
Yeah, no, this is Fan Forstick.
Oh yeah, forget that.
Yeah, I don't know how the other Fantastic Four movie wound up here, but not the Silver Surfer one, but this one did.
Oh, I get it because the 4 is supposed to be the letter A.
It's one of the worst ideas, Jacob, I think I've ever seen. Is that it's just terrible.
We used to make fun of it all the time by calling it Fan Forstick. Yes.
Thinking non-stick frying pan when I see it for some reason.
Yeah, it's really stupid. This definitely
is it dumber than ID4 though?
That wasn't the actual name of the movie though. That's the thing. ID4 was just like that was the first time it was like a promotional thing. They used to do that a lot back then. Like that was just the first time I remember them doing that.
I think there was some kind of copyright thing with that too.
Oh, they definitely made sure to copyright it, but
somebody else had something else that was Independence Day in it, and I think it was another country, so they just called it ID for that.
And I know the other reason was they didn't, because of the marquees, they figured it'd be easier to put ID4 on it than Independence Day. Yeah.
I will say this. Someone said that this movie killed Josh Trank's career. It's like, well, actually, he kind of killed his own career because he came out and buried the film before the movie actually released, which is usually not a good sign when you're a director.
He was a fucking embarrassment.
He started a trend there, though, didn't he? He started a trend that continues to this day.
When you hide in your trailer getting high instead of directing the film, you know.
Well, that's just it. There's a lot more to it than that. But yeah, like he is the quintessential, like, nepotism situation because he got the job because of the whole thing with that one movie the one where the kids get the powers.
Chronicle.
Oh yeah, Chronicle. And that had been written by John Landis's kid, so it was kind of this whole thing. And so yeah, they thought him and Landis were going to be the next new up-and-coming Hollywood, and Josh Trank tanked.
The Trank tank.
I don't think this should be up here this high.
No,
Wonder
it's not that
Woman.
bad. It's not as bad as that. No way.
No, it's not as bad as Quest for Peace.
Yeah,
it's not. It's just not. Yes, is the end of the movie batshit fucking crazy? Absolutely. But it is not as bad as some of the other shit that's been on this list. It's definitely not worse than Fan 4 Stick. I'll watch this any day of the week 20 times before I watch Fan 4 Stick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's maybe somewhere in the 20s, but it certainly isn't in the top 10.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. It's not great, but no, it doesn't belong this high. Now this is more
interesting.
Yeah. I've never actually watched this movie. I've heard enough about it that I know I don't want to.
It's not good. I think it's overtly corny. In a lot of aspects are just outright stupid, and I think people's ideas of what Catwoman was up to that point, like this film basically like butchers it to a level that it's almost unforgivable. But I will give one thing credit, is that Halle Berry, I think she was also nominated for an Oscar at the same time that she was nominated for a Razzie, and she actually did go up and accept the Razzie for this award.
She's one of the few people in history you have. But yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It suffers from that worst crime of any movie. It's completely forgettable. I've seen it once and I can't even remember it now.
I mean, it's memorable just for how bad everyone says that it is, but I mean, that's really only memorable.
I think I might have the fucking comic adaptation of this. I'm not sure. I'd have to look. Okay, here's RoboCop 3 for some fucking reason.
Well, I mean, if one's going to be on there, I mean, two.
Yeah, I suppose, but that compared to like this is a thing. This should be like the spots for like Eternals.
Oh yeah,
Justice
League.
League.
MCU film on this list.
No, they're very careful.
Yeah, of course not. Like I said, it's the critics, so the critics don't. Yeah, I'm just gonna ignore that for now. Son of the Mask. Okay.
Yeah.
This is almost like lowballing it.
It would barely
Bottom
include this
of the
in the
barrel.
first place. I mean, it shouldn't. Yeah.
Yeah, it barely even qualifies.
Yeah.
This is the kind of movie you put on the list if you don't have any other movies to put on the list.
Yeah.
Like you need an extra filler. Like
I take it they're just taking the Rotten Tomatoes score.
they are.
here.
It's just basically the score all the way down to the bottom.
That's all they're doing. Yeah.
So I can't bitch at the person who picked these, but this is the critics.
Yeah, but they've chosen to exclude certain things. But there's been
Seems to be.
Yeah.
They should have factored in the people's votes too at the same time, I think.
Yeah.
Because I'm not even trying to stick up for the Son of the Mask, but the Son of the Mask is like fucking low ball shit.
Very low, yeah.
Zoom.
No, it's just even lower.
Yeah, should this even count? Like this is a kids movie for fuck's sake.
Yeah,
I've literally never heard of this film.
Yeah, I barely remember when it came out.
British director, I think, Peter Hewitt.
And they're comparing it to The Incredibles.
Hey, Kate Mara's got 2 in the top 10, I think. So well done, Kate. That's a shame, but
And this is according to critics. This isn't even people's. So I guess they're considering this one. Number 1, Max Steel. Yeah, they got a hard on for this one.
they just don't like the word steel, do they?
But I think I've
So I
heard
didn't see
fans
blue
talk
steel
about
on
this
here.
one too. But see, I've never been I don't know the Max Steel franchise. I guess it has a following, and I guess this movie is really bad. So I can understand why it's on this list. There is a hell of a lot worse films that should be on this list, especially at number 1.
I am gratified, though, that one of my favorite cheesy movies, The Return of Captain Invincible, was not on the list because I feared it would be, but it wasn't. So,
but I mean, by the rules of this list, how is like Leonard Part 6 not on it?
The rules are.
Yeah, like at this point, like if we're gonna go to this extent, like that should be like number 1 the way they did it. Like I don't agree with this list. That reminds me though, we should really start once a month. We should really do one of our own lists on the crew here. So we'll have to. What do you guys think? Throw out some ideas here. What do you think next week? the list should be. What am I shutting my mouth for?
Are you?
I guess we found one fan of Max Steel.
I don't know. I said it has a following, and I've heard a lot of people talk bad
We
about it.
didn't say anything about it.
Yeah, I didn't say shit about it.
We didn't put it on the list. I've never even seen it, to the best of my knowledge.
Yeah. But yeah, there's another one where it was Masters of the Universe.
Commandant VHS suggested the top 10 worst pornos. Well, define worst. Is it like the German worst? WURST?
Top 20 horror movies. We should probably save that stuff for closer to Halloween, but yeah. Best war movies. That might not be a bad one.
The worst war movies.
Superhero porno films. Andre be like, why are we buying all these porno movies? I need them for research.
Goodwill Humping.
Goodwill Humping, yeah.
Pornos are plot. Yeah. Oxymoron.
Oh, he was talking about Leonard Part 6. Well, no, but my point was the shit they've got on this list. Why isn't something like that on here? Yeah. That was my point. Like, they have such a loose definition for what superhero movie was that it was like, you could really, in a way, they kind of did manipulate the list, I'm sure, because there's other things that should probably be on there that aren't, because
yeah, I mean, like all these things, it's selective. And
here's an interesting one, since we usually leave these off of lists. Best direct-to-video movies, and I suppose you could consider straight to streaming the same thing.
Yeah.
List of animated movies. Okay.
The best one's interesting. The best direct-to-video. I'll have to think about that.
That
Death
one
Wish 5 direct-to-video, wasn't it? Death Wish 5, yeah.
Yep.
Death Wish 5.
Top foreign films, I don't know, maybe.
Oh, I could do
classic. That's a good list. That would be a good one.
Best sexploitation films.
Best sexploitation.
I really like the direct-to-video one so far. That's my favorite of the ideas. Best soundtrack. No, we kind of done those with Mead Radio, but yeah.
Most unfunny comedies of all time.
Top 10 worst sequels. We did have a list of that not too long ago, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
We haven't done our own, right? Like, this is I'm talking about ones we should do as our own ones that bring to the table. Yeah.
Do the cheesiest.
10 best movies that Tom can do impressions of the lead actor in.
So yeah, throw out your ideas in the chat. Throw them out in the comments after the show if you're listening, not live or whatever. And I'll go through those ideas and I'll present them to the guys this week, and we'll see what we come up with.
Best movies about fictional bands. I did a live stream it once, but that would be a good one to revisit.
Best made for TV movies one would be fun, but it's really difficult to go by ones that everybody's seen. Why are you in the chat and not on the show? And that is one of the worst, best ideas ever script.
Well, Danny's Moonshine and I did have an idea like this.
Start a fight.
But the 10 best movies that feature women's boobs, but they're dead in the movie.
Jesus.
So we call it the Dead Boob Society.
Dead Boob Society.
Yeah, it's an excuse for directors to show a naked
sounds like
woman.
Something Mad Mardigan should talk about.
Yeah, it's an excuse for a director to show a
naked
naked
you should call the episode "Spoiled Milk."
Oh, too late to lactate.
That's okay. That's getting dark. Davina, I like this idea. Films that should be in film school. Like, yeah, like 10 films that should be.
There's some funny stuff in the chat now.
All right, so let's wrap this up, guys, because I think Culture's going live here soon, and this will redirect you over to there. Tell them we sent you. I want to thank the 700 plus people that watched tonight. I want to thank the mods that helped us out in the chat. I want to thank all the panel members, those who have left us already, and those who are still here. Like Jacob, anything you got going on you want to plug?
Got a bunch of shows coming up this week. Monday we're doing Bible Lens. Tuesday we're doing the Bar Room, and then Friday we're doing our movie review night, and we're going to be reviewing it's called Vacation Friends 2 with John Cena. So it's a Hulu film that we're talking about this week.
All right. Let's see here now, Brian. I see you're bringing something up here in the background, but did you see my message about that?
I did, and I'm going to be missing you tomorrow by the sounds of it.
Well, I was going to say, you sure you may not want to reschedule it? We could rework it somehow, because I have not heard really back from Andre on his availability yet. Or unless you talk to him personally.
No, I don't have. I have to go through you. I don't think I can DM. Andre.
Because I was wondering if we push it back to a little later or something, if that would work for you, maybe.
In terms of a week later, or
like maybe even a little later in the day, or like a week later, maybe.
I'll message you offline. Yeah,
I was gonna say let's talk about, but you can plug it just the same. But I was gonna say, we may want to.
We're going to do an episode of Canon Film Club on my channel. We're going to do Masters of the Universe. We always have a ton of fun with these movies. Tom usually comes on board too.
I don't want to miss it either. That's the thing. And something else come up that was last minute kind of happened. So
I could put it back a week.
That's what I was wondering because because this is something I was trying to get done in the background, and it just so happened that this was the exact time that a certain individual gave me for their availability.
Sure, and that's an individual I would like to have on the show too.
That's what I was thinking as well, so I could also ask him about that and the process of.
Okay. So here, thanks for letting me know, mate. Yeah, but anyway, so it sounds like next not tomorrow, but the Monday after, we'll do Canon Film Club, Masters of the Universe. It's going to be a lot of fun. I mean, I've been prepping for this one for a few days.
And I'll even bug Andre about it. So
yeah, so I'll push it back a week. But otherwise, check my channel out, everybody, if you can. I've been on a firestorm of work recently, putting out a lot of videos. Did a great stream on the Kinks last week. Anyone's interested in classic rock, fantastic stream on those guys. And I also did a review of a Korean movie I saw last week called The Moon, science fiction space rescue drama, brilliant movie. South Korean movie called The Moon. Check that out and you'll see what that's all about and why I like that so much. So thanks, Tom.
Well, glad to hear it, and thank you for being here, Brian. And Andy, anything you got coming up?
I got my channel, Laboratory Mayhem. Tomorrow I will be reviewing ISOM number 2.
Ooh.
And then I'll be on Rancor Steve's Manorama show on Rumble on Tuesday, and Doomcock's Pop Culture Breakdown on Wednesday night.
Awesome sauce. And yeah, as Brian and I were just talking, there was something that Script Doctor and I have been trying to plan here for a while. We're bringing back A-rated B movies. It's not at our normal time, though, because the guest we have joining us, Razor Fist, was available tomorrow. So at 2 p.m. Central, we're going to be talking about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the movie, the 1990 film. Join us, I believe I don't know if it's going to be it'll be on After Dark. It's usually on After Dark. So join us there on After Dark to talk Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1990 tomorrow afternoon. Otherwise, I'll be on the morning show, and we'll see you guys then. So thank you so much for being here, guys. Take care of yourselves and each other. And until next time, peace.